Act 1, Take 1, Action.
Ladies and gentlemen, wow, that was terrible. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Post Production with Airren and Frank. On this edition, we watched the third installment of Rian Johnson's Knives Out franchise titled Wake Up Dead Man, starring Daniel Craig, Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott. They had a whole lineup in here. It was crazy. So it starts out with our guy, Father Judd, who's played by Josh O'Connor, and he found himself in a bit of a predicament at his parish because he decided to punch a deacon. Can't do that. Not even if you're not a priest. Just can't do these things. However, as opposed to losing his title, he was sent to another church, essentially as punishment and to, I guess, learn from his mistake. And he has to then be with Josh Brolin, who runs this new church. Goes by the name of Monsignor Jefferson Wicks. So this guy is not your typical priest, very condescending, very rude, just not the best guy who should be preaching the word of God. He exploits the power, specifically with his relationships with a few people at the church, being the stars of the show. People like Glenn Close's character, Kerry Washington, so on and so forth. And despite everyone's good relationship with this guy, it turns out that there is a murder, and he is the man who is murdered. Now, our detective, I don't even know how to pronounce, I think, Benoit Blanc or something?
Benoit Blanc.
Benoit Blanc. He comes in, has to solve the case, and it was pretty tough to crack considering just about every person who was associated with this guy worshipped him like he was God himself. That's at least how it seemed. So yeah, directed by Rian Johnson, written by him as well, I believe. Going off of expectations, I don't really know. I mean, I was thinking it was going to be extremely entertaining because I felt that way with the other two. But yeah, I wasn't really going into it thinking that much about it. I thought it was going to be entertaining at the very least. I wasn't blown away, but my expectations were definitely met and exceeded in some situations too.
Okay, so I did not know what to expect. I was very excited for this movie because I loved the first two. Big fan of the series. I didn't know the cast. I knew Jeremy Renner was in it, and I knew Daniel Craig was in it. But that is it. I was kind of blown away.
Really?
I like this one a lot. And we can get into that in a little bit. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. It exceeded any expectations I had.
I mean, I guess I'd have to watch it more times, but I don't know where I put it out of all the three yet. I guess we'll discuss that later too. Because the first one I hold very dear. That was a really good movie when I saw it years ago. Second one didn't really hit like the first one, but this, like, I don't know. This was really, really good. So I'm not sure where I would rank it yet.
Act 2, Take 1, Action.
I was mainly very entertained because my prediction for who did it was just constantly changing. Because I'm so annoyed at the fact that this Simone character, who I honestly don't even remember what the actress's name was, or actor's name was, but she just, like, there was nothing really to her. Obviously, she was the cellist. She had that medical condition that prevented her from playing. She had to retire. I was so invested in her because of how much money she put into the church and how much money she gave him. So I was like, all right, she's lost the most. She would probably do something stupid to get that money back.
Yeah. But that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
I guess that was too. But then, I don't know. I don't think it was too surface level because of who did do it in the end. I guess we can save that for later on. We don't want to just tell you all immediately. all three of you. So I was initially thinking somebody was going to try and frame him because of the fact that they loved Wicks so much. Like they wanted him gone. So the murder weapon. The murder weapon was the top of the lamp at the bar that only Judd was at. So like once I saw that, I was like, okay, someone's trying to get him the fuck out of there. But that was my first one. I had the police chief in the back of my mind too, just because there really wasn't much about her. I was thinking that since it's Knives Out, it's Rian Johnson, there's gonna be some crazy twist.
Yeah, anybody is a suspect. Anybody and everybody's a suspect. I understand your feelings about the characters, especially Simone. The movie did not explore all the characters, which I think is okay, but the previous movies delved more into each character and how they are. This is a much longer movie than the other two, so they had time, but the whole plot was very dense, not in a bad way, but so many moving parts, and then a lot of misdirections, and they tie it all together in the end. They show you, like in the first two movies, how it all went down. But I don't know, because it is a surface level motivation for Simone to be the killer. But a lot of the other characters had surface level motivations. One of them, the author, I think his name was John Lee.
I think it was Lee something. I think Lee was his first name.
Let me see. Oh, Lee Ross. They didn't dive into his character at all, really, or like what his motivation would be until like halfway through the movie. But it's just like, are we doing spoilers right now? Okay, so yeah, when they have that secret meeting with Wicks, and he just calls everybody out and exposes them, that was really the only motivation that he had.
Right. I was trying to analyze how every single person was reacting to that, because with the exception of Vera, everyone was like still with him, and that's when I was analyzing Simone the most, because she was like, you know, I've invested so much money, like we're still with you, you know. It was like, whoa, like this person really thinks like this man can heal her.
Yeah, he instilled the belief that God and him could heal her.
Right. So that's what, because I was just like, there's no way. That's just over the top, like her believing in just everything that he says. So I was thinking, okay, she's got an ulterior motive. Like there had to have just been, I was thinking there just had to have been something that they weren't telling us and they were saving it purposely.
It could have been another misdirect.
Right.
Because they showed so much of her in that certain moment. Maybe they cut it out because the movie was already 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, I don't know.
I did think it was Psy for a minute, because we find out that he is Wick's son, and he would have wanted the fortune, but it was just too obvious because they did that in the first movie, I believe. Yeah, that was the plot of the first movie, or like the motivation.
Right. Lee was on my radar too, just because him writing the book about him made me think like, okay, he's heavily invested. So he knows about this fortune, obviously. He probably wanted to get close to him, you know, to hopefully gain access to it somehow. So he was definitely on my radar for a little bit.
But also, he was writing the story about Wicks. So if he could write the end of Wick's story, then like his death, then it might wrap up his book and get more sales.
Right. So the person who it was Glenn Close's character, Martha. She was like the one that looked out for the entire church. He was obviously the priest, but she handled so much that she had so much access to information.
I didn't think it was her for a second. Like, because she was so close to him, she cared about the church. She was close to his father.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote that down. It says Martha was raised by Prentice, Wix's father. So in the movie, she says he was basically a dad to me. And you see that in flashbacks in the movie. She's a little girl, and she just spent all of her time in the church with Wix's father.
She had lied about the origin story, or I guess, well, we'll call it origin story, of this woman named Grace, who was Monsignor Wix's mother.
The church's original sin, or
yes, right. So it was like, this person is known in the town for being just a horrible woman,
and the priest himself was teaching everybody to feel that way about this woman, like just to shame her and to make her feel less than, and that led to her going crazy. And, you know, yes, she was after his fortune, Grace, but the treatment that she received was just like not justified in the slightest. So it was easy for her to be a scapegoat. But, you know, so her running through the church, ripping everything up, turns out she was looking for the diamond that is essentially the priest's fortune.
Yes, she knew what it was, and that was revealed later.
Mm-hmm.
But when it was originally presented to us, it was not made clear.
Yeah, it was just like he had dropped dead, and it was act of, I think she said it was like the devil, but then she was saying it was essentially just a godly effect on him.
Oh yeah,
something.
she died, and it was
right,
and it was God's mercy.
Yeah. So Martha did it, and I thought to myself that would be too easy of a person to pick, because they made such an effort to say she knows where the bodies are kept. She handles all the orders for things. She runs the entire church. She had too much power for me to think like, oh, boom, it's her. So I was thinking probably a little bit harder than I should have, just because they practically mentioned Simone twice, and then there was nothing else after that like really stood out. She just was stupid, in my opinion. She's just funneling money into this guy's pockets, and it's just like,
well, he was.
What do you think he's gonna do?
He was essentially like a cult leader,
right?
Using Catholicism. He explained it in the movie how he, during his sermons, if new people would show up, he would call them out and try to embarrass them. And then if they left, they never came back. But if they stayed, then they'd be part of the fold. And our cast of suspects are the people who stayed. And where was I going with that? Oh yeah, and she was one of those people who bought into the idea that this guy has actual power.
Right.
So I wouldn't call her an idiot, but she was definitely manipulated.
But out of every one of them,
she was like the most accomplished. Well, no, because the author was
the craziest
too.
one, in my opinion. Like, giving him all that money. Like, Psy was weird for trying to go viral and like exploiting him that way. Martha was nuts, just like screaming all the time and talking about the Wix's dad. I'm trying to think who else. The guy writing the book he didn't have much screen time, Lee, but he was still pretty weird.
He was accomplished as well.
Yeah. Vera was very accomplished. She was a lawyer, but she had something about her that she was traumatized. Like, she was traumatized from being like forced to raise somebody.
Tortured. Like, you could tell in the first time we get screen time with her, she's just like.
So that also added to the difficulty of picking anybody, because it was like every single person's just weird.
Yeah.
Samson was just bizarre.
He was I feel like he was normal.
He was like,
he's listening to the game during his sermons.
Yeah, that actually, you know what? He was so normal that it was bizarre to me. That I'll say it that way, because he really didn't do anything.
Father Judd said he was the only good person there.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
I was convinced that Judd was the killer. like twice.
He was one of my early guesses. I wrote down Judd or Simone did it until I started seeing that it looked like he was being framed. I mean, he was, essentially.
When he... Okay, so the movie starts off from Judd's point of view. He's writing a letter to Benoit Blanc, and then it leads up to the moment where he is writing the letter, and then Blanc is like reading it, and at the end he goes, "Why'd you do it?" So that's why I thought he did it.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap, he just figured it out, and it was in front of us the whole time.
Yeah.
And
But that was
but
just
then
the alcohol.
yeah, then it tells you that he was hiding the alcohol to protect Wicks and his, I don't know about his reputation, but like just he was trying to save the faith of the followers.
Yeah.
And
Which was crazy that he was still looking after them.
the second time I thought it was Father Judd is when he woke up holding the sickle, and like he was blacked out, but I was like, why? He's running back to the tomb for some reason, maybe to cover up his crime or something, and then somebody saw him. Samson, it seemed to be Samson.
But it was the doctor the whole time. That was crazy.
And so he killed him because he was trying to cover it up, and then he ran away when Blanc found him. So I was like, okay, it's definitely him. He like maybe he has like a brain injury or something because he used to be a boxer and like just blacks out. But they didn't establish that at all. So second time I wasn't as convinced as the first time.
So my top 5 was obviously Simone. I had Martha second. Just because it was like, she was so nuts and had access to so much stuff. Third person I had, just because I was trying to just be just that guy. That
the
just
detective.
Picked the, the hardest fucking solution. I had Geraldine. She was like weird to me. Like her involvement at first, I was like, why does she want him to leave? Why does she? So that was a stretch. But I was just, I don't know. It seemed like all of them were so easy to pick. Which is what then leads me to my next thing, which was, I was thinking that all of them were in cahoots towards the end. I thought that all of them wanted access to the fortune.
So did I.
Because of that night where he just went off the rails and yelled at all of them.
Yep.
So that's where my mind was next. Which I think, well, actually, you know what? That would have been too surface level too, just because we had just seen the whole recording of that entire meeting.
But, well, yeah, it would have been super surface level because he calls out all of them except for Martha.
Right.
And they're like, oh, we got to kill him because our reputations are going to be ruined.
That could have been something that went over our heads, like him not criticizing Martha.
Well,
she'd be the least likely to be suspected.
See, I was thinking about it, but then he didn't do Psy either. So I thought maybe they said he was gonna torch him in church, so I was just like, oh, okay, that's gonna be a taste of what he was gonna do. So I thought about it for a minute why he didn't expose her, but then I don't know. I didn't forget about it, but we just moved on to something else.
Yeah, it was very wild when they included that. That just made it so much harder. It's like everyone hates him now. But then everyone still kept being like, oh, well, fuck you, Father Judd, for killing him. It's like he just fucking like disowned all of you, essentially. He called you all like scum. He just ripped you all up. It was insane. And then they're all still just, they have his back the next day, at least so it seemed. So it's just so bizarre.
I don't want to get into it that much, but I wrote down that this movie is like a social commentary.
Explain.
So like, it was very relevant today, like cult of personality, devout followers, and then they just supported him no matter what.
Right.
Until he was just like, no, you guys are losers.
Mm-hmm.
And then like they made references, political references, especially with Psy, because he was running for office or something. He was just running through. Like,
Psy was just delusional.
He thought
Yes.
he thought if he just kept posting all these videos of him ranting that he was gonna somehow become president one day.
What did I put? I think I put he's a grifter. Or
Yeah, he absolutely was. The man was walking around with his phone attached to a tripod the entire
Yeah,
movie.
Sai is a grifter. Vera, I liked Vera because when they were having that secret meeting with Wix, she compared her life to Wix's mother.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "You're trapped with your father." Like, imagine being a woman trapped with your father,
Just being ganged up on.
getting ganged up on, and having to raise your son, and that's like essentially what happened to her.
Yeah, and
she
she
was
also
living in her father's shadow,
Mm-hmm.
and then was just forced to raise Sai,
And at the same time,
who ended up not being.
what's her name? Grace. Like I said before, like the entire town was being taught to shame her.
Yeah,
So like she couldn't go anywhere to feel safe.
yeah.
So they were like, that poor woman, which was wild.
That's a motivation, but I wouldn't say it's surface level, but they just didn't expand upon it that much. It was just in that brief moment.
Did they say who his mother was? Sai?
No, Wix just said it was one woman he met
Okay,
like once.
gotcha. So who do you think had the best performance? Josh O'Connor was fantastic.
Yeah, him, Daniel Craig, obviously, and then Josh Brolin.
Yeah,
Josh Brolin, I think, was awesome in this.
I think he did pretty good. I think top two for me personally is Josh O'Connor and Glenn Close.
Glenn Close, who?
Martha.
Who was that? Okay. Dang, that's hard. I can just give top three: Daniel Craig, Josh Brolin, and Josh O'Connor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not in order.
It was. I paid less attention to Daniel Craig's acting because he's just playing the same character for a third time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Josh O'Connor, just like the scenes where he's truly like showing how important the faith is to him. That was like, okay, it can't be this guy. Like it has to, like, it would be a crazy twist if it was him. It would have been the amount of hoops they would have needed to jump through for it to be him would have been ridiculous.
See, I agree with you, but actually there was 3 times when I thought it was Judd, because when it's just Daniel Craig and Mila Kunis in the church, and she's like, "You didn't read the 4th one because Judd was in the room with us."
Mm-hmm.
And there was 9 seconds before anybody came up to see him, so he obviously stabbed Wix in those 9 seconds.
Right.
And then I was like, oh my god, yeah, like, because we only saw it from Judd's point of view. Wix collapses, and then the doctor comes and says there's a knife in his back.
Yeah. It's funny that it really wasn't Martha. Like, she orchestrated the whole thing, but it was the doctor. He got everyone to look away once they were all distracted, and he just stabbed them right in the back. That was crazy. Because he was technically just like, he wasn't dead. He was just having a friggin' seizure from whatever he drank. The chemistry between Josh O'Connor and Daniel Craig was pretty cool, though. It worked as a duo, I felt like. It wasn't anything to write home about, but like I liked it. None of the other characters really had chemistry with one another.
Josh O'Connor was very involved in the investigation in this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I like that much, because he is a suspect.
Right.
And I guess they did it in the first movie too with Ana de Armas. She was with Daniel Craig the whole time. But I don't know. I that would never happen in real life.
No, not at all. He also wouldn't just stroll in looking like the Riddler,
right,
and be like, "Yeah, I'm here to solve the case."
And
it's
I
like,
don't even think, because his fingerprints were on everything.
Right. There was no
Judd's
established crime
fingerprints.
scenes. It was just like, let's just walk around.
I think they would have fried him.
Yeah, without a doubt.
In real life.
Plus, it's funny how his character seems like he's not solving shit like the whole time, and then the last 20 minutes he's like, "Oh, I got it. I have the whole thing. I know exactly what it is," and he just keeps on going.
Yeah.
Just that's the whole thing, like all 3 movies.
But I love that, because I don't know. I don't really watch that many mystery movies, but when he reveals everything at the end and then just kind of you're waiting for him to like tell you exactly what happens, and then he holds it there,
Right.
and you're like,
And
come
and I'm
on.
trying to pick who it is based on the camera like shot or the shots,
Yeah.
on like who's in focus. Because like when he was really sounding like he was about to put two and two together, they were looking at Simone, and she looked distraught. And I was like, this is the moment where she's
Yeah.
going to get out of that wheelchair, because in the previous scene, Martha's freaking out that she's walking. I'm thinking she's going to get out of the wheelchair and be like, everybody, like, don't move. I thought it was going to be something like that. Of course, I'm not a director, so that probably would not have been the most creative way to go.
Speaking of creative ways, I at one point in the movie I looked at you and I said, "Did you see the light?" When he was on the phone.
Yeah, but
Okay.
wait, no, not when he was on the phone. When
He
when
was on the
like
phone.
monologuing next to the pew.
Yes, it was that, but he was on the phone with the lady who had.
Oh, that's what you looked at. I rewinded and I had no clue
That
what
was
you were
the second
talking
time
about.
it happened. The first time was in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
But the second time was in that room.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever Judd was feeling down or like doubting himself as a priest, the room was dark, like
Mm-hmm.
clouds covered the sun, and then Daniel Craig walks in and he's like just having a conversation with him about the faith, and he's like, he said, "Wow, I really feel like a priest again."
Mm-hmm.
The room fills with light.
Yeah.
And
when
then he's
Blanc's
on the
talking, it's
phone.
like dark because he's shitting
Yes,
on
yes.
Christianity.
And then when he's on the phone with, I think her name is Josie.
Louise.
Louise. Yes. He's on the phone with Louise. And she's like, she's just yapping the whole time. He's just trying to get her to do this thing. And then she's like, wait. Can you pray for me? The room fills with light again. And he's like, what? Yeah, of course. And then he I don't know how long he spends on the phone with her, but obviously some time has passed. He prays for her.
The sunset, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool. And then it gets dark again, and that's when he runs off. And then because it got dark while he was on screen, so I thought, oh, he is the killer.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really cool. Really cool storytelling element. Well, I don't know if it's a storytelling element, but it's like a character development tool.
And then the light coming through at the end shows the jewel. And
Yeah.
I feel like that was kind of like a symbol of him being a good priest, because like he resisted the temptation of that level of wealth and just instead put it in the heart of Christ.
Yeah.
Dude's a saint. Dude's a saint, and he's killed a man. Think about that.
Yeah.
That was like prior to being a priest. The man was a boxer and killed a guy in the ring. That's crazy.
Yeah, he said it like 3 times.
Yeah.
And then that's why people didn't really like him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was other things too. He wasn't Wicks, so they didn't like him because of that.
Right.
He thought he was creepy because he was actually trying to be a priest, holding prayer sessions and he's just a good guy.
Yeah.
And they all thought, this is not it, and he killed a guy. And
It was really creepy when the prayer group happened and they found out that the whole thing was behind Wicks's back, and they were all scared, and he called them out for it. He was like, "Oh, you're going to confess to the guy that you fear?" It's like, what are you doing? So that was good. He clocked his bullshit immediately. He was like, "Take my confession," and he starts talking about how many times he's cranked it.
yeah.
And he was like, he's narrating too, Josh O'Connor. And he's like, this was his first punch, which is hilarious because later on, when he calls him out for his BS, when it's time for Josh O'Connor to confess, he punches him right in the fucking gut.
Act 3, take 1, action.
Absolute hits. This is a funny one, but I do stand by this. The little fucking bits of humor when it's just Jeremy Renner sliding down the steps.
Oh my God, yeah.
And then also when they're like, all right, let's pancake him, and they flip Josh Brolin's
Dude,
body. He smacks his face so hard on the thing.
Dude,
That can't be industry standard. Like, they can't
No,
do
no. Bro, Josh Brolin is probably like 200-something pounds.
That wasn't him.
No, but They threw his body up. He was like 6 inches off the ground.
Yeah, but that was probably like
a prosthetic or like a dummy.
Like
but
like a wax
still,
figure
like in real
whatever.
life, 2 people are not.
Well, I mean,
picking a guy up that easy. I thought that was hilarious.
They seem pretty determined.
He just
seem like
flew
they've been
up
there
in
for
the
years.
air. I thought
that was so funny.
So funny.
And the noise.
Yeah,
it just went boom, boom. It just fucking hit the shit out of the thing. That was great. That was so fucking funny.
The little references, like Lee Ross's fans, how there's like little. They described him. I forget how they described him. Like kind of like incels, but.
They just showed the crowd, and
yeah.
it was all the same type of guy.
Yeah.
And Lee was pissed, and then Father Judd's like, God has a funny sense of humor.
Yeah.
So he was expecting his book to reach an audience that, you know, was far more desirable than what it ended up being. So that was pretty funny. I've said it enough times. Absolute miss was Simone. That like.
Biggest
I'm mainly annoyed because I was so invested in that being the solution.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like, God, like include her for a little bit more. She was just sitting there sometimes in her wheelchair, just like looking sad. It's like, is this even a character?
Yeah.
I don't even know who the actress was or actor. It was just, yeah, definitely a miss there.
Okay, so absolute miss. Not enough character development for like the cast of suspects. There was like two or three that they really went in on, but I think every single one of them needed to have more.
Well, that I will
character
agree with.
development because the other movies did it so well, and they had the time to do it in this movie. I don't think they wasted any time in this movie, but. They needed more character motivation or just like screen time for these characters. I did write this. Okay, movie lays out all characters and suspects plus timeline, like right in the beginning of the movie.
So are you saying that it should have been every character, not just a few?
No, not a point of view from every character.
No. It should have been every character that had a proper development, not just a few.
Yes.
Okay, then yes, we agree. Because I thought you were saying as a whole. Because I thought Josh O'Connor's character development was great. He seemed like an idiot at first, and then it turns out that he's very dedicated and like not a bad guy at all. So that was good. But yes, I do agree. It should have been every single character. It was not enough to just have that one scene where it's revealed that this guy right before he died was an absolute jackass. That definitely needed a little bit more for everybody to be involved.
I guess. In the first Knives Out, like there were side characters like the youngest son and daughter of the family. They didn't get any attention at all. They're just like, oh, he's a neo-Nazi. She goes to school and she's friends with Ana de Armas, but they're not main characters. But it seemed like since they laid out every single character at the beginning of the movie, it seemed like they were going to have bigger parts, especially Jeremy Renner.
Yeah. Like
he was probably one of the top billed actors in this movie.
Probably.
And I feel like he didn't get that much screen time or character development.
Yeah. There was that little bit about him being bitter towards women.
Yeah.
And like angry with his ex-wife.
Yeah.
Which maybe this is a stretch, but that could be evidence of him being the accomplice because he's being dragged into something. Like he could be, easily manipulated if he's in that state.
They did say
maybe that was what they were trying to get at. I don't know.
They did say that his wife left him for someone who was richer than him.
Right.
And now there's this fortune on the table and it's up for grabs.
And Martha said she saw him as a weak guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it was kind of good to point that out.
All right, absolute hit, Martha's motivation, because she actually cared about the church and she was dedicated to the faith. And she knew, because she revealed that she confessed, she knew where the gem was, and then immediately she regretted it, and she knew that Wicks was gonna get the gem and then just disappear on the church.
And she was motivated by her hatred for what's her name, Grace. Kind of a miss for me was when he noticed the thing on her lips. Like, she was able to stay alive for that long.
And then Jeremy Renner was cooked. Minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it was just the amount of it. Maybe she didn't give herself that much.
Yeah, you really have to suspend your disbelief.
Yeah. In that particular instance, I feel like for the most part, everything was pretty well put together.
I buy it because Benoit Blanc is just the man.
Yeah.
But yes, I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
She had like 30 minutes before she checked. And then, I mean, that's just a plot device, I guess. Like plot armor,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I didn't mind it too much, but I understand where you're coming from.
And I think for me, the biggest hit I think was the ending.
Where they wrap it all up.
Where he zooms in on the cross.
Oh, and the gem is there.
They searched every spot in the church, but just the gem being where Christ's heart is, and then the light that always shines when he's doing good as a priest, shining right on the jewel, showing that as a good priest, he did not capitalize on the fortune. Because he was like, or Sai was like, if I even so much as see that your roof is redone, I'll come get you. And he's like, I hope you come back to the church because your real inheritance is Christ. And sure enough.
Yeah, he told him where it was.
Yep.
It's funny that you say that because I wrote down, one sec. I wrote down church doors opening on the cross. They did it like 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
The doors would open, the light would shine. There's always a silhouette of a guy right in the doors with no cross on the wall. And then the final shot of the movie is the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no silhouette, but there's a cross on the wall now.
Yeah. I didn't realize this in the moment, obviously. I'm not that good of a film critic, but when, you see that the crucifix isn't there and then the door opens and like you're saying, there's a silhouette of a man there. I think looking back on it, that was a subtle way of saying like in this church, it's really not Jesus. It's this guy.
It's the man.
It's the man who's in charge. It's the man with his voice.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good, maybe, I guess you could call that foreshadowing, but you'd have to be insane to somehow put 2 and 2 together. Because that was before anything even happened.
Yeah.
I don't even think Josh Brolin had screen time yet. Or no, he did. Because that's when...
Well, that's when he came in, because we didn't know he was in the movie.
Yes. That's when he came in. I thought that's when Blanc came in. No.
Well, that happened then, too.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if it shined on the cross, but I think it was facing the door. It opens. Here comes Benoit Blanc.
Yeah.
You don't see him, though.
Josh Brolin's reveal, though, just so we don't sound like idiots when he came in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So then that does work even better. Like it isn't God.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and watch it again because I wonder if there's significance as to when the door opens. Like if they first get to the church, here comes the priest,
Mm-hmm.
and then, like I said, it happens like 3 or 4 times in the movie. But I think it's either Judd, Wicks, or maybe Martha. But I feel like it's always a priest.
Yeah.
Or like a religious person
Mm-hmm.
that walks in the doors. Because it's not just anybody.
It's funny, too, because, like, I guess they're doing the wrong thing by keeping the fortune from the family members.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I do not think the
No, he should not have it.
father, what's his name? Not Monsignor.
Sigh.
Father Wicks that ate the jewel.
Oh.
He was a G. That was crazy when he ate that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, there's got to be another way.
I think that rock was huge.
Dude. And then it was a nice bit of foreshadowing. Again, I didn't think this in the moment, but like looking back on it, when Blanc opens the casket or coffin, revealing that with the camera panning that something is missing. We don't know what's missing, but something is missing. That was pretty good.
I thought the music was a hit.
I didn't
very
even really notice it that much.
yeah. It was really subtle, but it was like it wasn't like intense music. It was I don't know. It made me feel curious. Like
Nice.
we're putting together a case.
Hell yeah.
Um,
I like that.
The reviews are in.
what do you give this movie out of 5?
Out of 5, we're definitely above a 4. Not too high above a 4, but we're above a 4. I'll give it like a little 4.1 out of 5.
Okay. And then how would you rate the experience?
This movie was pristine. It was fantastic. I was just on the edge of my seat the whole time just because I had to constantly guess. But I'm also very happy with who it was. Very fitting ending for the theme. But yeah, pristine watching experience for sure.
Nice. All right. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. I love this movie. And my watching experience, I give it a top notch. Very fun movie, very engaging movie. I was thinking the whole time. I didn't know who it was going to be. I wasn't bored at all. Not on the edge of my seat, but I was very engaged with the movie.
I had those moments where it was like when you're playing a video game and you lock in and you move forward. I had a few of those moments where it was just like something's about to happen here that I need to be paying attention to.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that these movies are as good as they are. They could very easily just be like cash grabs, but they're not. They're very well done. And Rian Johnson's, that's disrespectful to say that he would make a cash grab of any kind. All of his stuff is pretty well put together. 4.1 pristine, 4.5 top notch. Not bad. Not bad. All right.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Fuck Simone. We didn't need you. Get out of here.
And